right, today's video lesson is on Chapter 1, Lesson 3A. We're going to talk about exponents. So this little teeny guy right here is an exponent. So I'm going to write some vocabulary here, exponent. And the big guy, the 5, that's called a base. That's a base of 5 with an exponent of 3. So we need to talk about what does that mean and what is the answer. What does it mean? And there's an actual answer to this. 5 to the third, there's an answer? Yes. So the exponent tells you how many. How many. The base tells you how many of what. Like what are we even dealing with here? So we've got 3 of these guys, and they're all going to be multiplied together. So it would look like this: a 5, a second 5, and a third 5, and they're all multiplied together. If I want to figure out the answer to this, I have to take the first 2 and multiply them together. Whatever that answer is, multiply by this third number. So see if you can figure it out before I write it down. 25 times 5 is 125. These 2 guys made 25 times this third guy, this third 5, makes 125. Let's make a little chart. So if you're taking notes, let's make a chart that has 3 sections. The first one is going to be the exponent. This column is going to be what does it mean, and this column is going to be what the answer is. So let's suppose I had 4 squared, 4 with a tiny 2. Tiny 2 is it has the word squared with it, 4 squared. 4 squared means 4 times 4, answer is 16. Okay, let's try another one. Let's try 10 to the 4th power. There's no fancy word for 4th power. After 2 is fancy word and 3 is a fancy word. From 4 on, there's no fancy words. So squared, cubed, to the 4th power, 5th power, 6th power, 7th power, stuff like that. So what does that mean? It means I have 4 tens, and they're all multiplied together. They're not added together, they're multiplied together. 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros. Remember, that's an easy way to do that kind of multiplication. So the final answer is 10,000. I have 4 tens, 1, 2, 3, 4, and they are all multiplied together. We're not skip counting, we're multiplying them together. Okay, you try this one by yourself. 2 to the 4th power. What does it mean? And what is the answer? Pause the video, write your answers down, and then hit play. It means 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. Final answer is 16. How did I get that? These 2's make 4. These 2's make 4. 4 times 4. Remember, we're not adding, we're multiplying. These 4's make 16. You could also say 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. 8 times 2 is 16. You can kind of just go down the line. Or I kind of grouped them together. Either way, a couple ways to think about it. What if we had a decimal number? Because they don't always have to be whole numbers. So I could have, let's say 2 tenths, 0.2, and we'll make it to the 3rd power. Pause the video, work it out by yourself, see if you get what I get. All right, here's what I got. 0.2 times 0.2 times 0.2. I have 3 of these 0.2s. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. There's an 8. The rule with multiplying decimals is I count. I have 1, 2, 3, 3 behind the dot. 1, 2, 3. I need 3 behind the dot, so I had to add some 0 placeholders. Sometimes the textbook is going to give you the what does it mean. They're going to write it out as a product of numbers. They want to know the other two parts of this chart. If you see this, can you figure out the base and the exponent? If you see this, can you figure out the answer? Pause the video, try it, see what you get. I got 8 to the third power, so the base is an 8, and how many are there? There's 3 of them. So the tiny 3 goes here, the 8 is the base. I did my scratch work over here because I can't do that in my head. 8 times 8 is 64, and a third guy, so remember 1, 2, 3, multiply the third one and I get 512. Okay, try this one in purple. 1 times 1 times 1 times 1 times 1 times 1. Final answer, what would it look like using an exponent? 1 to the 6th power. Final answer is just 1. 1 times 1 is always 1. And that's all she wrote, folks. That's all we got. So let's do some video questions. Video question number 1. What do you call the 9 in this question? 9 to the 4th power. What is the 9 called? Next question is, write this out as a multiplication problem. 11 to the 3rd power. What would that look like as a multiplication problem? You can use the star key, which is I think on the 8 button has a little star on your keyboard, or you can use lowercase x or an uppercase x to help you when you're writing these multiplications. So when you type that one in, either use this picture or an X. Question 3, what is the final answer to 7 squared? What would the final answer look like? All right, good luck.